Hello and welcome to the podcast, another edition of the Level 10 Contractor Daily Podcast. I'm Rich Harshaw from Level 10 Contractor. And as you can see, I have special guests with me today, Pat O'Toole from Qualified Remodeler. Pat, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Rich. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Well, some podcast listeners may remember, gosh, maybe about 6 months ago, I had you on the podcast to talk about Top 500 Live, which is a fall event. Today, I've got you on to talk about Fast Remodeler Live, which is coming up on, let's see, May 20 and 21st, if I'm not mistaken.
100% correct. Baltimore, Maryland is the location, Mid-Atlantic. So thank you for having me back to talk about it.
Yeah, so for the listeners that aren't aware, this is a completely I'm hedging. It's not a completely different conference because there are some important things that are similar, but it's a different flavor of conference. This is a technology conference. FAST stands for what does it stands for?
Well, yeah, so FAST stands for Focused on Agile Systems and Technologies. And, rather than have a mouthful in the title of the conference, we made that acronym.
Yeah, and I believe this is maybe the fourth or fifth year you've had this one.
Yes, fourth year coming up. Good memory.
Yeah, well, I've spoken at least two of the past three, if maybe all three. I can't remember. They speak a lot of places, and I can't remember. I was in Austin last year. Good
Yeah.
crowd was there. Uh, So let's talk about why this conference exists. I've been in this industry now for 20 years this month. Got involved in remodeling from our good friend Tim Mush, invited me to do a webinar for
Yeah.
him. Been going strong ever since. Back in those days, technology was really like, hey, do you have a website? Like having a website in 2005 was cutting edge technology. I'm exaggerating, but only a little bit. But here's what I've noticed in the last 5 years, really before COVID and then during and since COVID, technology has really taken a different and more central role in remodeling, not just marketing, but running the whole dang company. So what are you seeing in terms of that trend? Am I on the mark
You're
there?
you're 100% right. And really what research we did that led to the very first Fast Remodeler Live and why we're talking about technology exclusively and why we think it's worth it to have this really laser-like focus on technologies because it does impact every part of the business. And there's been over the last 15 to 20 years from the research that we did this bloat in software. People have a ton of software, maybe too much, and they don't manage it correctly. And then there's another word that we use too. It's sprawl. So there's a lot of applications, a lot of software. An average of 60 to 100 for a small business is the number of software as a service on average that people have. And that includes all the apps, it could be the main CRM that they use, of course, but added and bolted onto that are things that people have added along the way for a particular salesperson in the company. So, anyway, this has created overwhelm, inefficiency in an area that should be very efficient. Like you should be thinking strategically about your software. You should be thinking strategically about how you roll it out to your company. And it should be a way for you to be faster, more efficient, have better user experience, and at the end of the day, more profitable with less overhead. So that's a lot. And my last little thing about it is in the midst of all of this happening, artificial intelligence has come along and it's impacted every one of these software areas. So there really isn't a point in time where you could feel like you're totally up to speed. So this conference is a way for people to attend for a day and a half, put everything in front of them and figure it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I had a kind of an aha moment. It was about 2 or 3 years ago. I was talking to one of my clients, and this is the first time I ever heard of Real of Voice. uh, Maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't know how long they've been around. Not all that long. And the guy said, "Yeah, here's what it does. It's helped our closing ratio. It's amazing." And then here's the comment that he made that blew my mind. He said, "Yeah, our tech stack is over $10,000 a month in our company." And I
Whoa.
went, Okay, so like, what are we talking about here? Well, Real Voice, then you've got like, your one-click contractors, your full throttle, go right on down the line. I did a podcast yesterday with a company that uses AI infused hiring protocols. And I was totally blown away. Like, holy crap, this could make your hiring not only easier, quicker, faster, more efficient, but actually work better. Hiring,
Yeah.
Pat.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. There isn't an area in which AI isn't kind of coming in and augmenting and speeding up or making better or making it more accurate and faster, uh, that I can think of. All areas of a company have been affected by AI, and it's only going to pick up speed because we're. So I'll just back up half a second just on AI. There's these large language model uh, that we've all heard about: ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and a hundred others, Gemini,
Grok.
and Grok. Yeah, and so people are putting their own data into this, and they're just querying it after they put their own data in, and you really start to see efficiencies. They get ideas. I'll give you a real quick example of somebody who's coming to Fast Remodeler Live. His name is Jimmy McKinney. He's a design build remodeler in Louisville, Kentucky. And he took all of his scopes of work for bathroom remodels and kitchen remodels over the last 20 years, and he uploaded them to a private part of Chat GPT that he purchased, and he put them all in there. And then he began separately to query for scopes of work on new projects and began to get back documents that were 90% complete. So a real huge time saver for him. And he is now using AI to create scopes of work quickly for prospective clients. And that's just like the one way that creatively people are using AI. So it, I think I'm getting a little bit off topic, Rich, but you know what I'm getting at. There's a lot happening, and that's why we have the conference.
Yeah, well, and let me connect a dot here, I think, which is there's so much happening and it's moving so fast. There's so many different, not just services available and softwares available, but just use cases. And it's impossible to keep up. It really is. I mean, this is one of the things that I'm sourcing right now for my podcast, Level 10 Contractor Daily Podcast. Obviously, we're on it right now. Is an AI expert that can come on, like how Dr. Phil used to go on Oprah every once in a while, be the special guest and talk about doctor things. I'm getting an
Yeah,
AI guy to come on and just keep the audience up. And that's what this, I don't want to overstate it. It's not that it's an AI conference. It's a technology conference where people can come in and learn the latest, greatest, newest, best practices, talk to other people, and just get a bearing straight on, okay, what's out there even, and what should I be doing?
that's it. That's 100% it. And the reason why a conference is the right idea for this is because if you tried to dedicate a certain part of your week or month to keeping up with this, it just isn't going to happen in the same manner. You're going to sit down at night and maybe go through some articles that you hope to read or watch some videos to keep you up to speed. But this is a day and a half. You're away from all the other distractions and you're focused on it. And I think that's really the key.
Yeah, I've had an aha moment in my own company and my own, I don't know, I guess sphere of influence, that technology is not optional anymore. Not that people think it's optional, but it's like it used to be. Hey, you need to have a CRM. You got to have a website. You need to, update from, a spreadsheet to this CRM. You need to, maybe use automated calling, things like that. And it's so far beyond that there's just got to be some central place where people can come and learn about this. And that's what this is. So here's what I want you to talk about next, if you don't mind, Pat.
Sure.
Do you have an idea from an agenda standpoint, like what kinds of topics are going to be covered so people can get a feel for what things are going to be covered?
Yeah, and I'm thinking mostly about, so it's the conference is split into two groups: home improvement, replacement, specialty topics, and then design build, full service remodeling topics. So let's focus on the home improvement side and what's happening there. there's a lot of innovation around tools that help you generate more leads. And then once you've got those leads, how to move them down the funnel using tools and to then be more efficient with those leads on the front end and to integrate more with the CRM. These are all features that are being built out. So, marketing, lead gen, um, setting appointments, and then lead efficiency. That's a big focus of many of the talks that are coming through. And a lot of it involves, the middle of the night text message to somebody who's gone and filled out a form on a website. So you're really like these things that you think there's no way I can do it. They're available now. It's easy to do it, and you're walking by a lot of real cash for your business in an age when lead costs are going way up. So that's the CRM lead gen, setting appointment side of it. Uh, from an operational standpoint, on the home improvement side of things, there's a lot happening that keep the customer informed along the way. Setting dates, letting them kind of set the dates for installation and agree to it. There's a lot of happening in the sales side of it. There's ways for clients to see their rooftop with new uh, materials on the top of it very quickly with full estimates and real clarity. And all this stuff is happening in real time. And then the last thing I think I would mention is like this idea of agency, um, that companies, when they do the technology right, can really have all of this stuff working together so that when a prospective client or client is in there interacting, that they're getting all the latest information from all parts of the company. And so those are some of the key themes that I'm most excited about, but there's a lot more. And the last thing that I want to mention is that last fall we asked our readers to submit ideas or hacks, technology hacks that make their business better. We selected 12 of them to come up on stage and do a 90-minute hackathon. It's something from the software world that they do, but basically each idea, which is they're all good, gets presented in 7 minutes. And at the end,
Okay, not
real
90
quick,
minutes each.
yeah, not 90 minutes each, 7 minutes, 90 minutes total.
Okay.
Um, So yeah, oh my God, I can't believe yeah, that's of
That'd be
course really correct.
that'd be a hack of marathon. Okay, so we're gonna have some like quick hits here. 7 minute quick, 7 minutes quick, 7 minutes quick.
And they're big ideas and little ideas. And at the end, the audience gets to vote on which one they like the most.
Oh,
And
very
it's
cool.
as low key, nobody's going to feel bad about not winning it, but there will be a hackathon winner. So that's kind of part of it. It's like you get training and expertise. You're speaking, you're talking about OTT, for example. So you could really go to a session like that and learn. But these quick hits, these hacks are also there. So you're gonna walk away with ideas no matter what.
Yeah, let me just focus in on the OTT thing that I'll be speaking at. If dear audience member who's listening right now, if you haven't heard, I'm going to actually be speaking at this conference. Um, but this is a good example of where old meets new. So my agency, we've done TV and advertising, TV and radio advertising for our clients, managed that for them for gosh, 20 something years now. We haven't really gotten into digital OTT or CTV, depending on how you want to say it, because the price points have been way too expensive. But now they've come down, and there's so many advantages to this now. So we take an old school medium like television, and now check this out, Pat. I don't know if you know much about this, but when we can send impressions on TV to very specific people in very specific locations with very specific household incomes, home values, demographics, and then we can continue to follow them around via their IP address, send them impressions, and then when that person goes to your website, we can track it so that we can then optimize and know what's working best, where to advertise, what times to advertise, and it's a whole new ball game compared to old school TV advertising.
I did not know all of that. No, I had a sense that it was really direct action, like in OTT, you're seeing a lot of QR codes. You're seeing people being able to take action directly. And obviously there's a sense that targeting is better in OTT, but
It's
I had no
way
idea about all
better.
that following. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
and look, the purpose of our discussion right now is not to get into all the finer points and details of
Right, right,
OTT. That's what the conference is for.
right.
But the idea, I'm using it as an example, like most of the remodelers that I talk to, they don't, they know what OTT is because every freaking dude that's out there selling advertising is trying to sell OTT, but they don't really understand how it works. So we'll just walk them through it. Here's what it is. Here's how it's changed. Here's how it's better. Here's how you can track stuff. And they'll come away from that going, okay, now I understand this. Maybe I'll lean into it. Maybe I won't, but at least now I know. And then take that concept and multiply it by, I don't know, 25 or 30 different topics that are all under the broad header of technology. It's going to be a fantastic conference. I mean, realistically, Pat, the keystone event of the entire year in the remodeling industry is the top 500. It's just the biggest. People come in. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty big, but this has got to be the second. Like you can't have the first and the first, Pat. Sorry, it's like you've got the first and this is the second.
Noel, you've got a conference coming up this fall. I really, all I'm saying is that thank you, by the way. I really appreciate those kind words about what we're doing. We try, and it's shown to be effective. This conference is the two things are happening here. There's a lot of people coming in that look at software and technology as an area where they have bloat. They're spending a
Yep.
lot. You alluded to that earlier, and they want to make it more efficient and better working for them if they're going to spend that kind of money. So they're looking at it like I'm coming to solve a problem here. And then there's a lot of other people who are like, hey, this is a great opportunity. Like I'm going to transform my business. I'm going to be more efficient, maybe reduce my overhead or grow to a higher level, do more with less. And so there's two mindsets there. And that younger cohort, I think, is more on the opportunistic side. So we like to see uh, uh, remodelers, home improvement pros who are in their 20s and 30s. They are not reading the print version of Qualified Remodeler as much as I would like them to be. So we do this as a way for them to get face to face in a topic that they're interested in.
Yeah, isn't it always hilarious to show up at these conferences and there's the 27 or 33-year-old guy and he's sitting there with his 61-year-old dad and the dad's like, "Yeah, I don't know any of this. That's why I brought him." So,
Yeah, Dad's like, listen, I'm the chief fun officer. That's what somebody told me. So I'm leaving everything else to him, you know.
well, I want to bring up
But
one other point about this
sure.
conference. It's the same point that I would bring up about the top 500. So the content is great. Everybody loves coming and hearing all this stuff, but the networking opportunity here is phenomenal. It's second to none, really, for all of these kinds of conferences. Look, there's a bunch of conferences out there and a lot of good ones. I don't want to sell the others short, and I think we all know what those are. But the more people you get in a room, 800, hopefully this year for top 500. And like, how many are we expecting at this conference in May? A couple hundred, 300, 400?
We're shooting for 300 attendees. People register, so we have,
Yeah.
we'll see 300 of them there though.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this is a big conference and the networking opportunities are just, they're proportionate to how many people are there. So, I'll just speak from personal experience. I showed up at the conference, top 500 last year, as a speaker, and I must have met 10 different people that I had significant conversations with that have been valuable to me in my business. And I'm not talking about, hey, I met a guy that could be a customer and I sold, like true contacts that are structurally helping me do better in my business. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
no. Yeah, it's a real gathering spot. We're really lucky with Top 500 Live. And people circle it on the calendar and make sure they're there because they want those connections and those conversations in addition to the content. So thank you for mentioning that.
Okay, so for this conference, let's go through just the logistical details. Baltimore, Maryland, uh, the 20 and 21st of May. What's the venue?
Correct.
I can't remember off the top of my
The
head.
venue is the Hyatt Regency Inner Harbor. It's a really nice venue, very comfortable. The rooms are nice. We got a nice block. It's affordable. Um, but we've got a lot of great networking events around it. A company called Leap is doing a big party the night before where everyone can gather. There's it's designed to make it so there's 10 and a half hours of stage time over a day and a half. And you get in, you get out, but a lot is happening between the time that you arrive. And so we're excited about it. Yeah, those are the basic details. You got it right.
Okay, so you gave me this information before we started the podcast. If people want to learn more and register, um, you can go to fastremodelerlive.com. I would suggest just Google Fast Remodeler Live. It'll pop right up. I've done it probably 5 times in the last month. And you go on there, and when you go to register, here's a code for you. Also put it in the show notes if you want to look at it there. But it's Pod FRL 25, Pod as in podcast, FRL as in Fast Remodeler Live, 25 as in 2025. So Pod
Yeah.
FRL 25 is a code. And what does that get you in terms of a discount?
So because you got it, when we were listening to Rich and I talk about it today, it's a $95 rate. It's the same rate that people were able to obtain uh, at the early bird rate, which expired on April 1st. So it's a real deal. And I think the main thing for us is we want qualified people there. The money isn't super important. If you're interested in this topic, and if you're a home improvement pro, we want you to be there. This will help defray some of the cost of the lunch and everything else that you get while you're there. So sign up. It's an incredible value
Yeah,
to be
I'm
there.
I'm looking at the website right now. The normal price it's showing is 225, so $95 is not nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, prices are going in a different direction right now. So let's let's take advantage of the ones that are going down or their
Okay,
opportunities anyway.
so that's Fast Remodeler Live. Just Google it, Fast Remodeler Live. Use the code POD FRL25 to get that discount. I'll be there. Pat will be there. How many speakers roughly? About 20, give or take.
26
Is that including
speakers.
the 7 minute guys or not including the 7 minute
That's
guys?
including the 7 minute guys.
Okay, okay.
By the way, the 7 minutes is the average length of a guest. If anybody remembers the old Tonight Show or maybe
Yep.
Letterman or even like today, some of the late night shows, a guest, you feel like they're on forever. It's 7 minutes. And so it is a nice chunk for people to be able to get up there and say their piece.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Again, go to the website, Fast Remodeler Live, and we look forward to seeing everybody there. Thanks, Pat, for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Rich. Really appreciate it.